welcome to my first tutorial. I'll be showing you how to do a little bit of crochet today. That's casting on and doing a single stitch. That'll be using a 8mm crochet hook. Some of you might be using 4s or 5s. I'd get rid of them whilst you're learning because it's a lot easier with the bigger ones. You can purchase an 8mm and a 10mm hook on my website, aurorasdestination.com. And if you just want samples of yarn, because you're here from Mindful Creations and you're not planning on using yarn in the future, you're planning on using scrap fabrics, then just purchase a sample ball as well for practicing. This is more than enough. You'll be able to get 2 of these, the 8mm and the 10mm, on a little discount, and this is fairly cheap too. And then you'll be able to practice with me. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll have learnt the basics, and then we can move on to things like this. Beautiful rugs out of scrap fabric. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so glad that you're here. Let's get started. Here we've got our yarn or wool and our crochet hook. I'm going to be using an 8mm. If you're following a pattern somewhere, it'll probably be asking you to use a 4mm or maybe even a 5mm, something small like that. You can see the difference in sizes. I only use this size hook, if not bigger, because I make rugs and not really small wool things. I'm using a chunky yarn here so that you can see what we're doing a little bit better. But if you get lost, just drop me a message and I'll show you. Right, so I'll start off by wrapping it around my 2 fingers. So you've got that shape there. And then going behind and pulling that like that. There you've got your slip knot. So be able to put the crochet hook on there and smallen that down. This is your start here. So we're going to ignore this tail here. I hold it by wrapping it around my finger and pulling that tail down to create a gap there. You will have a gap, but it's harder to see if you let go of it. So if you pull it, you can see it a little bit easier. You want to keep the stitches nice and loose because your first 2 rows are definitely the hardest. So grab it, twist it, pull it through. Grab it, twist it, and pull it through. Just going to cast 10 on. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Grab it, twist it, and pull it through. Can you see? Make it a gap that looks reasonable enough to get through. Don't have it choked up like that. If you can't see a gap, you're going to, if it's like that, you're going to struggle to get through. But most importantly, you're going to really struggle in a minute when we come back to use this space. So make sure you've got a little gap, reasonable gap. Grab it, twist it, pull it through. Pulling this bit to create that nice clear gap. Grab it, twist it, pull it through. So I've lost count now, but grab it, twist it, pull it through. Where are we up to? Look, it's gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Grab it, twist it, pull it through. You should still see slight gaps in it there. We need to use those. So if your gaps are too tight, you can just take it off the hook and undo it like that. If you've done it right, it'll come off easy peasy. Obviously, if you've got nice clean gaps, don't worry about it. Just carry on and catch up to where we were. That's our starting on stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So when you get to the end, that one's a bit tight down there. Right, so when we get to the end, you need to come, you have your first stitch here, can you see? That's your first stitch, there's your second stitch. You need to skip one and go for the second one. Because, let me turn a little bit so you can see the light. So we're not going to use this one here, we're going to use this one here, this second one, because if we go in here, our yarn's just going to fall out of where it already lives. So we go through here, grab it on the same way, again pulling this so that you've got that gap. Can you see that gap there? It's a little bit hard to film, but grab it, pull it through there, and again through there. That's your first stitch. This second row is probably the hardest row out of them all, even for me, and I've been doing it for a while. So your next one is there. Grab it, pull it through. You don't have to do much of a twist with this. So I try to get underneath wherever my stitch is and pull it a little bit to get to it. You really are multitasking here using all your fingers. So the next one, grabbing it, pulling it, and again pulling it through there. Here, grabbing it, pulling it through. There we are. So work our way down. If you need to, you can rewind the video, try that bit again, find the next bit, so you'll see that you're in one there. Look for a little loop between, go to the next one, stick the hook through, grab onto the yarn, pull it through there, move your fingers onto here so you're underneath that stitch and pull it through there. You do this, you feel around, next one, pop it in there, grab your yarn, pull it through, move your fingers over to this stitch, pull it through there. Like I said, this is the hardest row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then just going through the last one there. Pull it through. Right, so it should be slightly bent. I mean, if it's really bent, then it's too tight on that first row. And then just turn it around. Sorry, I think I swayed a little bit there. I'm trying to watch me through the camera so that I know that you guys can see. Add on an extra stitch. Because that is the one that carries you to the next, like, you know, it's sort of like a ladder. You've now climbed up to the next level. So you add one stitch on at the end, turn around. Let me just count the stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, so head into, not the one where your stitch is, not the one where your string is, because otherwise your yarn will come out. So you head over to the next one, grab it on there, these stitches are a little bit harder to see, but it does start to get easier now. You only need to pick up the one, grab it, pull it through. Can you see that okay there? It's hard to remember to look at the phone to make sure you guys can see it too. It's also hard to know where to put my face when the camera's sort of where I'd want to be. So we're at the end now, starting to even up a little bit, looking a little bit straighter, and we're casting one on, turn it around, and then I didn't think I showed you on the last one, so you've got your yarn coming from here and then you pick up that second bit there. You see? That's where you're heading to next. You don't want to use the one that you're in, otherwise you'll come undone. So go for the next one. Let me slow it down a little bit just in case anyone's getting a little bit stuck. So can you see the bumps? Go for this bump. It's a stitch from the last row. Loosen it up if it's getting a bit too tight. If you're struggling to see, just loosen it up. This is a practice. If it's overly loose, it's better that you've managed to practice and it's overly loose than not being able to practice at all because it's too tight. Ta-da! Cast one on, in, twist, pull it through, just like you did at the start. Turn it around. Ta-da! If anyone's stuck at this point, just drop me a message. You'll be able to buy chunky yarn and chunky crochet hooks from my online shop, aurorasdestination.com. If you are currently trying to do this with a hook that's smaller than an 8mm, 6mm, okay, give it a go, fair enough. If you're trying to do this with a tiny crochet hook, I could never do it. So if you're struggling, head over to aurorasdestination.com and grab yourself a chunky hook. Grab yourself a little bit of chunky wool. I can even send you a little bit of this one. I've got a whole bag sat next to me. There we are. So this is the basic skill that you'll need to be able to make the rag rugs that I create. Cast one on in replacement for the stitch that we're about to skip out. So we're not going to use the first one, we're going to use the next one. Oh, I've swayed, sorry. You see the bumps? Go for that second bump there. Right, I'm going to finish off and add a few more, and then you guys carry on and practice, and I'll show you how we get on in a second. Right, so now it should look somewhat like this, and you've made yourself a square, and that's it. You've practiced. If yours now looks like this, or you can get yours to look like this, then you can definitely make one of my rugs that I sell in my shop 100%. I'll just quickly show you how to weave the ends in. So again, at the end, this is the end that you've got the cut bit on. I mean, you can cut it down so it's shorter. Just looking for a pair of scissors around me. So say if you cut it to this sort of length, and then you find the stitch next to it, just grab it, pull it through, and if you work your way down, ta-da! Very nice and neat. That works the same with the rugs as well, but I can show you that another time. And the brilliant thing about crochet is once you've used your practice and you decide that actually you've done a really great job, you just pull it apart. The whole thing comes apart. Nice and easy. You've practiced, and you can practice over and over and over again with the same piece of crochet. The same piece of yarn or wool. I had a little nick there, did you hear? The only thing that would be difficult is obviously you have to pull the end out that you've just weaved in. Wherever that may be. Oh, it's down here. That's the beautiful thing about crochet. I've actually made jumpers using crochet and worn them, and then decided that actually I would like to use that wool for something else, because wool is expensive, as I'm sure you know. The whole thing can come apart. Ta-da! And then you've practiced how to do a single stitch crochet, and if you like, I will show you how to make a woven rug with me. Thank you for joining me on my first tutorial video on how to crochet today. If there's any bits that you couldn't see, then drop me a message and I'll go into a little bit more detail. Any bits that you struggled with, just let me know and I'll be more than happy to help. If there's any other skills that you'd like to learn how to do, like making stickers, maybe watercolours or things like that, drop me a message and I'll try and make a video for those too. If you'd like to purchase the 10mm hook for making these rugs, head over to Aurora's destination. These rugs are also available at the minute on the website too. Let me know if you'd like me to make any other videos and what you'd like them to include. Thank you for joining me today. Take care guys. Bye.